Let's all take a deep breath for a moment. Feel your shoulders relax, feel your jaw unclenched, feel your eyebrows settling so that way they're not furrowed. It has been a hot minute since I've been on here, and I truly apologize. But hey there, hey everyone. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you are watching this. If you are watching this, I hope that you're able to add and sprinkle in a little bit of good and positivity throughout your day. Welcome to Tao of Tay. I'm Tay, and this is my channel where I share daily meditations, not so daily lately, but daily meditations and stories from my own personal life and experiences to not only gain some clarity in my life, but to also bring a little bit of extra balance into my life. I haven't done this intro in so long, I don't even know what I'm saying. And maybe there's something that'll resonate with you and something that you can ponder throughout the rest of your day, like a little takeaway to add into your life. So let's address the elephant in the room. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've been on here. I want to say like I went up to January 12th and today is February 1st. So if you're wondering where I've been, if at all, I was in a little bit of a dark place. I was new to my sobriety. I was only a few weeks in, and so I was still I was feeling better on the physical level, but on the mental and emotional level, I was still in a little bit of chaos. Even though I feel like I've gained a lot of clarity, I still, when certain things would arise, I still didn't know how to truly deal with them. And one of those things was the 1-year anniversary of my father's passing. So that was really hard to deal with. And then 2 days later, my grandmother passed away. So it's been a little bit of a rough patch, but you know, death is a part of life, and something that we all experience on a personal level, of course, unless you're immortal. But it's something that we also experience with the people that we love around us, or the people that we know around us, or even if we don't know them, we hear it on the news, or, you know, we have pets that we love, and everything in this world is only temporary. And I always like to think of the Avatar quote. I know, cheesy and cliche, but I love to think of the Avatar quote. Energy is only borrowed, and one day you have to give it back. And that's so true, and that's really a reminder for me to not take life for granted and to try to make the most of every day, because, you know, as much as I want to say that I'm going to be like Rose from Titanic, like a little old lady dying in her bed, you never know what life has in store for you, and you never know what could happen when you step out your front door. So I'm trying to take life not as for granted, and I'm trying to just try to make the most out of life. So I took some time off because I don't think that anybody would really want to be taking wisdom and advice from somebody who is in a low place and crying all the time, because it was just constant crying, constant emotions. And at one point I really do want to share a video with you guys about my experience with, you know, my father's passing and my grandmother, and because I'm a big believer in storytelling. Now, I suck at it. I'm trying to get better. Practice makes perfect, right? But I truly believe that in sharing our own personal stories that can really help somebody else. And that's what YouTube has been for me for so many years is, you know, there's the fun and the playfulness of YouTube, of course. But then there's also this side where I just love listening to people's personal stories and hearing what they've gone through and trying to learn from that. And also knowing that, like, oh shit, I'm not alone in that. I didn't have to experience that all by myself. Other people go through that. Wow. And it just really helps to give you a new perspective in life. So one day I will be sharing that with you, but I finally got dry, so I'm not ready for that yet. Alright, so jumping into the daily Stoic. It is February 1st, so we are in a whole new month. which means a whole new theme for the Daily Stoic. So this month is passions and emotions. Oh, great. All right, so February 1st, for the hot-headed man and woman. Keep this thought handy when you feel a fit of rage coming on. It isn't manly to be enraged. Rather, gentleness and civility are more human and therefore manlier. A real man doesn't give way to anger and discontent, and such a person has strength, courage, and endurance, unlike the angry and complaining. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Marcus Aurelius from Meditations 11:18-5b. And the little blurb under it to explain, why do athletes talk trash to each other? Why do they deliberately say offensive and nasty things to their competitors when the refs aren't looking? To provoke a reaction. Distracting and angering opponents is an easy way to knock them off their game. Try to remember that when you find yourself getting mad. Anger is not impressive or tough. It's a mistake. It's weakness. Depending on what you're doing, it might even be a trap that somebody laid for you. Fans and opponents called boxer Joe Louis the ring robot because he was utterly unemotional. His cold, calm demeanor was far more terrifying than any crazed look or emotional outburst would have been. Strength is the ability to maintain a hold of oneself. Let me read that again. Strength is the ability to maintain a hold of oneself. It's being the person who never gets mad, who cannot be rattled because they are in control of their passions, rather than being controlled by their passions. That's something that I feel like this is just always what I say. I read it and then I'm like, that's definitely something that I go through and I experience. But it is, I have anger and rage issues. Not to the point where I feel like I need to go to like anger management class, but suppressing emotions for years upon years, it leads to displaced emotions. So like when you see somebody getting really, really mad, normally the underlying emotion there, like that baseline emotion, is like sadness. And when I look at angry people, I'm like, man, I now when I look at angry people, not before, but now when I look at people who get just like so hot-headed, so angry right off the bat, I'm just like, man, I have to hold compassion for you because you're just this like hurt little inner child who's sad. And you're expressing your emotions because you probably don't know how to deal with them in a way that is misplaced and it comes out as anger. I've dated my fair share of guys like that. And now I can look back, in the middle of it, no. I'd look at them and I'd be like, wow, you're a jackass, you're an asshole, you're this, you're that, you have problems. But now I can look back and I can say, with like an open heart, and I can try to see it for what it really is. It's like, you're just hurt, and hurt people hurt people. And I try to think about like, if I was in a circle of kids on a playground and I was getting bullied, I used to think, oh, well, of course I'd stand up for myself. But, if I get pushed, I'm going to push right back. And if I get yelled at, I'm going to yell right back and yell 10 times harder and, say nastier things and just keep like leveling up. But an eye for an eye makes the world blind, right? And then I would think, I heard this advice from somewhere, probably like a movie of some sorts. I heard this advice that said like, don't get angry if you're getting like picked on or bullied or someone's starting a fight with you. It's like, act crazy. Just start like screaming and like having tantrums and like convulsions on the ground because nobody wants to mess with a crazy person. Which sometimes doesn't always work. But now I can really see in my 30s with this more wisdom within myself, I can say that no, the best strategy is to just breathe deeply. Maybe have the tiniest little smile on your face and just don't give into it. Don't level to their level. Don't stoop down to their level. Like, keep your calm, cool, collected self. Because that's what people want. Just like they said in the book, you know, it could be a trap that somebody laid for you. They want you to get angry. They want to push your buttons. They want to see that rise, because then that's just what they're seeking. And then that makes them feel better because they got that rise out of you. So if you just don't give that to them, and like you don't say anything at all, they don't get that validation. They don't get that confirmation. They don't get what they're seeking. And then honestly, if it's that playground mentality where it's like the bully and you and all the kids around you, then, you know, if you're not stooping to that level and they're just talking a bunch of mad trash and looking like a fool, everyone around you is going to see that and they're going to be like, ooh, that guy or that girl or whatever, you're looking like a fool right now. And it's not easy. It really is not easy. And it definitely takes time. It takes patience. It takes practice. It takes a lot of sitting with yourself for, you know, 5, 10, 20 minutes. If you have an hour, go for it. But sitting with yourself, seeing, you know, the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings that come up for you while sitting in meditation, and not giving into those. Because yeah, there's going to be bullies and there's going to be a-holes in the world, and something that's kind of inevitable, unfortunately. But we also are those bullies to ourselves. You know, I have that inner voice in my head, a couple of them, that like to put me down and say nasty things to myself, and I used to always give into it, and now I don't. And I notice that that inner voice isn't coming into my mind as often, or the things that they're saying really don't affect me as much. You know, I used to, anytime I would pass a mirror, like getting washed up for bed or in the morning, and I have a mirror in front of the vanity, in front of the sink, and if I just even caught a glimpse of myself, I'd be like, you're so ugly. I hate you. Like, I would just say the worst, oh my God, I'm getting emotional. I would say the worst things to myself. And I would really let it affect me. I'd be like I would hear that voice, because it's not really me. It's just a voice in my head. And you know, if I tell myself like, you're so ugly, like you should die, you're not worth anything, you're this, you're that, whatever, I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, I am. And I'd make myself small, and then I would try to avoid mirrors at all costs. I would try to avoid my reflection at all costs. But now this work that I'm doing, and I know nobody really likes to hear about it, but it's something that's really special to me, is like my sobriety has really given me that clarity. And it's helping me not like shove the emotions down into that deep dark place. It's like slowly letting them bubble up to the surface, and instead of being like, oh no, I can't deal with that, let me numb myself so I don't have to feel that. Now that I'm not using and I'm not numbing myself, I have to deal with those things. I don't have to dwell on them. I don't have to keep them in my forefront. But when they come up, I just acknowledge. It's almost like seeing a cloud passing by in the sky. You know? You can't make it move any faster if you like, get out of here. No. And yeah, you can close your eyes and pretend it's not there, but if you open up your eyes, you're like, oh, no, it's still there. So when I feel those emotions bubbling up now, I just acknowledge, and I'm like, oh, hey, there's that cloud. Okay. Sending love to you. We don't need this hurt. We don't need this pain anymore. You're free to go. Look into the lights. And then the cloud passes on by. And, you know, like a couple minutes to a couple hours, maybe a couple days from then, another one will surface and bubble up, and I just go, oh, there you are. Okay. You served your time, but you no longer serve me, so pass on by. And we have to be able to do that with those people in our lives. Whether it's people in your family, hopefully not your friends, because you get to pick those, You don't get to pick your family, but you get to pick your friends. If it's coworkers, that makes it a little bit more challenging for your, day-to-day work life. But there's nothing worse than letting someone get to you. Because, at least in my own experience, I let that shit fester and burn within me for days on end. And it's like that quote that's something along the lines of, having hate towards someone doesn't hurt them. It's hurting you. It's like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. And it's like, no, you're just poisoning yourself. So if we can work on our own selves to keep that calm, cool collectedness, then, this shit's gonna come at us from all angles of life, but we don't have to really give into it, and we don't have to let it affect us as much, if that makes sense. Again, I just kind of use this as like a virtual diary of some sorts, and being able to talk about it allows me to kind of understand it a little bit more. Sometimes I don't always understand it. Sometimes I kind of need to just read it, sit with it, and then a couple days down the road I'm like, oh yeah. It's like that aha moment, like the light bulb, bing, went off. Because some people, that's all that they know, I like to always think of the bully at school as probably being bullied by their parents at home, or it's just this long lineage that stems back, and hurt people. And if we cannot give in to their pain and their hurt and their suffering and not allow it to attach to us, and we can try to show them compassion, which is so hard. It is so hard, especially how divided our fucking lives are right now. You don't have to be best friends with the person. No. Have your boundaries. But if we can just kind of show compassion and have compassion and loving awareness for other people, it not only sets ourselves free, but maybe that kind of alleviates some pressure off of them, and I don't know, food for thought. Yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, this little message, this little rambling of mine. It feels good to sit down. It feels good to talk to you, whoever's listening. Mom, Aunt Liz, hi. But yeah, the next time you feel that heat within you begin to bubble up and rise up, all that adrenaline, that fight or flight, being on the defense, ready for war, that's how I've lived my life for so long, just ready. Somebody pick a fight with me, because I need to release some of this fucking energy and this rage that I have from, all of the terrible things that have happened in my life, or, all the traumas that have happened that I'm now trying to misplace onto other people. If we can just keep that cool, calm collectedness, maybe the world will feel a little lighter, and our lives will feel a little lighter. And hopefully that makes you feel better, because honestly, that's all anyone really wants, is to just feel good for a second, for a minute, for an hour, for a moment. And if we can have that for ourselves, then it's a lot easier to have for other people. So keep calm, keep cool, keep collected, and keep doing your self-work. And thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me today. I am truly appreciative and grateful. I will see you in the next one. Bye.